Greetings and welcome to online lecture 3 of unit number 3, practical aspects of vapor compression system. So this lecture will discuss the safety aspects of refrigeration and air conditioning systems. Refrigeration and air conditioning systems are provided with a lot of safety controls. But if the refrigeration load and capacity of a plant remain constant, there would not be any need to have any control. However, in practice, both do fluctuates depending upon the demands and supply. The controls used to cycle the refrigeration system on or off are of two principal types. Some controls are temperature actuated and some controls are pressure actuated. Temperature actuated control, which is also known as thermostat, which generally senses the temperature of a physical system and accordingly perform the action. Temperature actuated controls are bulk type temperature sensing element and bimetallic temperature sensing element. Bulk type temperature sensing elements are usually used in large installations, and bimetallic type temperature sensing elements are used in our domestic refrigerator or air conditioning. They are provided in the relay. Pressure actuated controls, they are used to control the pressure of refrigerant in the system. It is used as a safety controls, and it mainly cut off the load when the pressure falls below a certain level. It cut off the supply when the pressure increases above the certain level, and it also monitors the oil supply. If there is a shortage of oil in the compressor, it also cut out the supply. So these are the controls, mainly controls the pressure and temperatures in the refrigeration system. This is introduction part. Now we'll see the temperature control, especially low temperature controls. The purpose of low temperature control is to prevent the temperature of chilled water in the liquid cooler from falling below a certain limit, protect the water from freezing. Freezing water damages the liquid cooler. This is a figure shows a typical low temperature control system. This is a sensing bulb. This sensing bulb is generally connected to the outlet of the chill water, and in the bulb it contains some gas which has a low boiling point. Partially there is a liquid and gas. So if this bulb comes in contact with the that cold line, if the temperature falls below a certain line, so some of the gas get condensed, and obviously the gas quantity reduces below contract, and at the below contracts, this particular contact is disconnected and stop the compressor. This is one thing. Secondly, when the chill water temperature rises above a certain limit, suppose above 0 degrees Celsius, the gas in the sensing bulb vaporizes, some liquid vaporizes, and it expands the bellow. And as this bellow closes the circuit and restart the compressor. So this is a low temperature control generally provided with the chill water plant and to avoid the freezing of the water. Then the second type of control, that is the frost control. The purpose of frost control is to prevent the formation of frost on the outer surface of the DX coil. Usually a temperature sensor is used to sense the outer surface of the outer surface temperature of the DX coil. Frost accumulation is not a desirable process because it prevents the rate of heat transfer. And if the frost is accumulated on the outer side of the evaporator coil, then the compressor is continuously running and there is a excessive power losses happens. When the temperature drops to 0 degrees Celsius, the controller actuates a relay which opens the circuit and stop the compressor. This is a typical fitting of frost control element in the refrigerator. So there are two cycles, the cooling cycle and defrost cycle. So this is a typical circuit of cooling cycle and defrost cycle used in our domestic refrigerator, especially for no frost refrigerator. So the supply in the cooling cycle, the supply is going to compressor motor, and the compressor is running under these conditions. So this is a cold control, and this is a contact breaker. So in cooling cycle case, the contact breaker is in contact with the cold control, and continuously the motor is running and the cooling takes place. During defrost cycle, this particular circuit breaks and the defrost cycle is on, and the current is made to flow through the defrost heater, which is surrounded on evaporator coil, and which melts the frost accumulated on the coil. So this defrost, the timer is provided. Suppose the cooling cycle is continuously running for 24 hours. So every 1 hour, 2 hour, there is a timer. So after 1 or 2 hours, depending upon the timing set, this circuit breaks, and this circuit is on, and the current is made to flow through the defrost heater and perform the action. Normal time, this is connected, but in between, if there is a, depending upon the setting, if this will comes in the picture, or this will activate defrost depending upon the setting of thermostat. This is a thermostat circuit breaker. So depending upon the set temperature, it will on or off, or it will make the contact or disconnect. So this way, the electric circuit works for the defrost cycle as well as the cooling cycle. So this is a fast control. Then about the compressor safety controls, a compressor in a refrigeration or air conditioning plant has to be provided with some safeties to protect it from operational faults, because the compressor is the costliest component in the system. Almost its cost is almost 30% of the total plant. There are three common safeties provided in the compressor, mainly the high pressure trip, low pressure trip, and low oil pressure trip, amongst the other. Compressor has to be protected against high pressure that can cause structural failure. Therefore, high pressure cutout is provided. Generally, the discharge pressure is monitored. It should not shoot above a certain level, and there is a possibility of shooting up discharge pressure, that is because of the some malfunctioning or of the condenser. For example, in air-cooled condenser, if the fan is not supplying sufficient quantity of air over the coil, in that case, there is a possibility of shooting of discharge pressure. And if it crosses certain limit, the pressure cutout activates. On the other hand, if suppose that the condenser fan is not working, in that case, there is a sudden pressure rise happens. And because of that sudden pressure rise, the possibility of overcurrent of the motor and motor breakdown happens. So to avoid that also, this cutout is helpful for the safety. In water-cooled condenser, there is a possibility of scarcity of water, scaling, other factors are there. So due to these factors, there is a possibility of increase of condensing pressure or discharge pressure. So in that case also, this particular cutout will come in working condition. Similarly, any deficiency in the oil pressure can damage the bearings, and low oil pressure cutout has to be provided. So this oil pressure needs to be monitored, because the main function of oil in the compressor is to provide the lubrication. If the oil level falls below a certain level, then generally this cutout activates and stop the compressor. Low pressure cutout is also provided, because if the pressure in the evaporator falls below a certain level, the excessive pressure difference across the compressor happens, and because of that, the excessive power consumption is also taking place. And to avoid that, generally this cutout activates if the evaporator pressure falls below a certain level. This particular cutout comes in action. Also, in sometimes if the pressure falls much below atmospheric pressure, in that case, there is a possibility of air ingress and causes moisture block that has to be avoided. So in that case also, this particular cutout will be helpful. Low pressure cutout. This is generally when the suction pressure falls below a certain limit, the spring pushes the bellow and opens the motor circuit and stop the compressor. The suction pressure, if it increases, the bellow expands and closing the contact of the motor circuit and restarting the compressor. The two adjusting screws are there, uh, uh, which are used to set the cutout and cut-in pressures. Cutout pressure is the pressure at which the compressor stops, and cut-in pressure generally is set here, is the pressure at which the compressor starts again. So it mainly works up, depending upon the variation in suction pressure. If the suction pressure falls, the bellow contracts and the circuit break happens. If the suction pressure increases, the bellow expands and it makes the contact or closing the contact of the motor circuit. So this way it works as a simple layout of LP cutouts. Similarly, HP cutouts, the purpose of high pressure control is to stop the compressor when the discharge pressure of the hot gas approaches the dangerous limit. So if the discharge pressure exceeds, then generally it opens the blade and disconnect the motor supply and the compressor stops. If the discharge pressure falls below drops to a safety level, then the bellow contracts and close the contact and compressor starts again. So this exactly works in the reverse way. In this case, if the bellow expands, disconnection happens and bellow contracts, connection happens. So again, the two screws are used to set the pressures, that is high pressure cut in and cut out pressures. This is about the HP cutout. This is a pictorial view of the HPLP cutouts, provided with the capillary bellows, pressure scales, differential screws, like that. Then oil pressure failure control. This figure shows a typical oil pressure failure control mechanism. When the compressor starts, uh, the points A and B of differential pressure switch and point C and D of timer switch are in contact with each other. So this is connected to the relay or supply. So both are in contact with each other, and when the compressor starts, uh, the differential pressure switch is affected by a differential between oil pump discharge pressure and crankcase suction pressure. So based on this variation, it actuates and it connect or disconnect the differential pressure switch. Suppose if the pressure of the oil discharges from the oil pump doesn't reach the predetermined level. Suppose initially it is in contact. If the pressure in the oil pump, if it doesn't reach the predetermined level within a certain time interval, the low oil pressure keeps the differential pressure switch A and B, keep the pressure switch A and B in close contact position. So initially compressor starts, so the pumping starts, and for the predetermined time interval, if it doesn't reach the required pressure, it remains in contact. So the current flows through so this particular heater energizes, which causes the bimetallic plate to deviate from the vertical position, and this bimetallic plate no longer keeps the timer switch D in contact with C, and the compressor stops. So initially there is some time interval is provided. So within that time interval, if the oil pressure is not reached, the heater energizes and disconnect the timer switch and stop the compressor. This is the way it works. If the oil pressure reaches the preset value, it deflects this differential pressure switch and disconnect this switch. And if it disconnects, then generally it de-energizes the heater and the bimetallic plate remains in vertical position, and C and D remains in contact with each other, and the compressor is continuously running. Vice versa, if this pressure is also reduces, the same thing happen. So this is the way it works, that is oil pressure. So it monitor and the oil pressure, and if the oil pressure falls below a certain level, it disconnect the compressor. This is how the oil pressure failure control works. This is a typical pictorial view of that oil pressure failure control. The two bellows, one end is connected to the suction crankcase, other end is connected to the pump, and this is connected to the compressor relay. So which makes the compressor connect or disconnect to the motor. Then motor overload control. The purpose of motor overload control is to protect the motor from dangerous overheating caused by a long period of overloading or failure of the compressor to starts. Maybe due to overloading, there is overheating of the motor takes place. So for that, motor overloading controls are provided. So sometimes the thermal protectors with bimetal or thermal sensors are installed inside the motor or mounted on the outer surface of the motor shell. These sensors sense the temperature or both temperature and electric current supplied to the motor windings. If dangerous overheating and overloading occurs, a controller breaks the circuit. Recently developed microprocessor operated DDC, that is direct digital control system controllers, combine all safety control mechanisms with other control systems of a reciprocating refrigeration system in one package. So this DDC system controller not only senses the signals, but also analyze and operate the safety controls accordingly in coordination with other systems with far more functions and sophisticated comprehensive controls. So nowadays, there is much more development in the control systems. So this is one picture where a lot of controls can be provided, can be linked with the compressor. So thermal, this is a typical circuit of thermal overload protection for both provided with a lot of circuit breakers. This is a typical single phase power supply, 230 volt, connected to the motor. And in between, various circuit breakers are provided. So first, that is a fuse disconnect or circuit breaker, where if the excessive current flows, they maybe more than 230 volts, then it's immediately disconnect the supply. Then this is the operating control. We can make the on and off like this. This is operating control. Then in the circuit also, it senses the high pressure and low pressure cutouts also. If the high pressure is there, then it break the circuit. Consequently, low pressure. And this particular circuit is provided for overcurrent protection. If the overcurrent flows to this particular circuit, the heater energizes and it disconnects the bimetallic strip and stop the motor. So this is about the single phase. Similar provision is provided for the three-phase supply also. So three-phase supply, same the circuit breaker for fuse, then operation, that is on-off supply. Manually we can operate this. Then again, it can sense the high pressure or low pressure also. So depending upon the cutout pressures, it cut the supply as well as cut off the supply or cut on the supply, or again cutting, reconnect the compressor. Then overcurrent protections. So again through bimetallic strip, if the excessive current flows through the heater energizes and it disconnect the motor supply on both sides or the both phases. So this is for the three-phase motor. Similar control mechanism is provided in the circuit to protect the compressor from various parameters like excessive current, excessive heat, excessive pressures, and excessive sudden there is a shoot up of voltage or current like that. So these are some safety controls used in system as well as in compressor. So at the end of this particular topic, we should be able to illustrate what is low temperature and frost controls used in the systems. Some safety controls of the compressors and motors, uh, and mainly the working of oil pressure failure control. So with this, we have completed this topic. The next topic we will discuss on the balancing of vapor compression cycle. Thank you very much.